Hello, my friends. Welcome to Unicorn Dust Designs. My name is Sammy. Today I put a compilation video together of all the DIYs from the past that I felt resonated for summer. So this is going to be a summer inspiration video. I thought with everybody enjoying their family and their friends for 4th of July, then this was a great video to put out, start inspiring you to get crafting for the summer. I hope you guys enjoy it. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you are. And I do want to remind everybody, I am now selling DIY paint products. So I will leave the link for that down in the description box. All right, you guys, let's get started with this collaboration. Let's get started with this compilation video. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Unicorn Dust Designs. This is Sammy. And tonight we are going to start off with this, what is it? A wall pocket? Is that what I don't know. But so this came from Hobby Lobby. We're going to take off all the stickers. We're going to take off the pads. This was one smart cookie putting these little furniture pads on the back so it doesn't knock into their door. But I like to clean all of my items before I put any paint on them. And then I did shellac this. So I like to use shellac. It is a stain blocker. I don't know who's used it, what it's been through, what it's been painted with. So I just prefer to use precautions so that I don't have to go back and do something again. So I shellacked it, and now we're taking Water Lily by DIY. We played around with this color a couple weeks back, and it is so absolutely beautiful. It's not everybody's cup of tea for sure. It is a brighter color, but once it dries down, it truly is a beautiful color, and it is very underrated. I get all of my DIY products from Bree, from upcycledbybrie.com. We're going to let this dry down. And then in the back of the pocket, I only paint so far down. I don't want to waste my paint. And someone's going to put flowers in here. You are not going to see all of that. So after this dries down, I am going to start wet distressing. And I am using my baby wipe. And I am going to go over each and every little detail on this. I wanted to bring some of the depth back by allowing, sorry, I'm moving around, you guys, if you could hear like my chair moving and stuff. I wanted to bring some of the depth back by bringing some of the black out. You guys, oh my goodness. Hello, welcome to my life. Now the second dog wants out. All right, so after I'm done wet distressing that, now I'm going to take Clear Wax by DIY, and I am going to clear the entire thing, the back, the front. Anything I painted is going to get that clear wax. Now I'm going over it with White Wax by DIY. And at first I was like, oh man, I messed this up. I probably shouldn't have done this white. It looked good as it was with the wet distressing. But as I start wiping back my white wax, I was like, nope, I made the right decision. I buff it out. I don't want it like stark white or anything. I just wanted to get up in those details a little bit. It also dulls down the water lily color a notch, so it's not so bright and in your face. And I ended up loving this. I put some vintage flowers that I got from another thrift flip, and I put those in there. It looks so beautiful. It even has like a hole in the back so you can hang. This will be available on my website for purchase, and I am loving this color. It is so beautiful. And look at those vintage flowers. I hope you guys like this. A simple and easy thrift flip. Something you guys can do too. Okay. We are taking 2 of these signs. You could find these so often at Dollar Tree. Some of them pop out really easy, like that one. This one, on the other hand, took some work. So if you have this happen, just get your craft knife, go through the back, it loosens up the glue, and then it pops out a lot more easily. Now, there's tons of glue on the frame right here. So take your craft knife and scrape it off. And the reason I'm going to scrape this off is, one, we're going to use one towards the top of our lantern, and then the second one we want to clean up because we're going to put the backing back on, and we want it to sit perfectly flush with our frame so we don't have a lopsided wonky donkey lantern here. All right, so now on the backing, I tore the top off, Then I'm covering my bag. I know it was just going to be sitting on the ground, but I just can't leave it like that. Like I have to. Somebody's going to pick that thing up. I don't know. All right, now taking acrylic paint. Yes, you guys, more acrylic paint. I don't know what came over me. I'm not using chalk paint. It's the weirdest thing. But we are going to paint the front, the back, the inside, all of the frames. You're going to paint both of them all black. After you're done with that, we're gonna put our backing back in. So I just lay some hot glue in the frame. This is my detailed gun so that it's not messy. All right, now I was like, oh, the brown looks fine. Nah, I had to paint it. So I paint the inside of this all black. Now, we're gonna take 16 of the smaller paint stir sticks here. I'm taking acrylic paint and the water again for our stain. And I am going to lay these all out. Just get them all out there so you have them ready to go. Now I'm going to take my brush and I'm going to hit all of these with this water stain. And make sure to get your sides. Make sure to get the top and the bottom. You want to get all of these. Now after you're done with all of these one side, then you're gonna flip them over. It's perfectly okay if they're still wet. It's not going to ruin them at all. And I do get my heat gun to speed up the drying process. This is water, so they dry super quick. All right, now we're getting our frames and we're gonna start with one stick just so we don't have the wobbles going on. So I'm going to take a hit of hot glue on the ends. There we go. Make sure they're nice and flush with the bottom especially. Look at how beautiful that wood grain looks. Okay, now I'm gonna stack the rest on, play around with the placement. Grabbing a pencil, I'm gonna go ahead and mark where those stir sticks are so I know where to lay them down after putting hot glue on them. So as you can see, I put the hot glue on the top and the bottom. I use my bottom finger to help make sure that it's flush with the bottom because like I said, you don't want it wonky when you go set it down on a surface. All right, so we're gonna turn it around and then I kind of get smarter as I'm doing it, you know? So I'm gonna glue. Do you see how I was like, why isn't this fitting? But you just gotta kind of pull them apart as you're gluing them and then they're fine. There you go. All right, so like I said, getting smarter. So I do the sides first and then I go in with the middles and then I mark them off with our pencil like we did before. Oh, look at that. You guys know I love like wood and all of that stuff. So like seeing the grain and how beautiful this like water stain turned out is everything. Okay, so on this side, I layer the paint sticks on top of each other. Did you see that? I want to show you. See, I'm like layering it on top of it instead of like in line with the frame. I hope that makes sense. So you guys, we are gonna put the rest of them on. There we go. We got the rest on. Now I'm taking the thicker nautical rope from Dollar Tree and I'm just sizing it up right here, seeing how long I want it on the top. After that, I am going to take 2 strands of the nautical rope here. And then I'm going to take some of this other jute cord, or I don't know what it is, but it's in my Amazon store link in my description box. And I'm gonna wrap this thinner one around 3 times, tack it off in the back, cut the remainder of it off here. And then I keep going like back to just reference how long I want it and where it's gonna sit. See, there we go. How high we want it. Okay, so now I'm taking my detail glue gun and we're gonna glue these together. And I wanted to do that, 1, for a thicker handle, and 2, I didn't want, once it was on, for the nautical rope to kind of like spread. You know what I'm saying? So I thought connecting them would be really pretty. It would add, you know, I like the depth of it because it's thicker. All right, so we're gonna finish this up. We're gonna do the same thing on the opposite side. We're gonna get that thinner jute cord and we are gonna wrap it around 3 times. So I hot glue first, put that jute cord on, and then we will wrap it around 3 times here. 1, 2, 3. Yay, yay, yay. Okay, so now after we cut the excess of that off, I'm gonna fold this in half so that we can make sure that everything lines up. See that? All right, we want those to match. And then I go ahead and I unravel the ends here. I thought it was pretty, I don't know. All right, so now we just need to attach it, just hot glue, There we go. There was kind of a gap right there, so I just got my glue gun and kind of filled it in there. And then I attached the opposite side, and we're done, y'all. That was it. And look at how stunning this looks and how simple it was. This cost under $5. And y'all, I got the big giant paint sticks too. And I want to do like a medium and a large, and then this will be the small one, and stagger them on my porch. I hope you guys like these easy DIYs today. I am really excited about all of them. Okay. This is going to be a super easy flip. This was a $4.99 can from Savers. And it was beautiful on its own, but I had extra milk paint, so we're painting it. We are not wasting any of that milk paint. So you guys, we're just painting the whole thing. I mean, the whole thing. And we're going to cover the front of it as well. Now, this did not give us any crackle at all. I didn't get any crackle. The paint does look aged and it has texture to it, but I didn't get any crackle out of it. So the milk paint is still very confusing to me, because I didn't put any bond in it this time. Now I'm taking the Alchemy wax, and this is in the color Soot. And I'm taking my paintbrush and I'm just outlining everything because I want it to pop. Then I'm going to lay my brush flat on its side and kind of hit those letters. I didn't want to get this wax everywhere. I really wanted the letters and everything to pop and stand out on its own. And then I just take my finger and kind of buff it out. Then I'm like, that's looking a little too harsh. So I put a little bit more distressing inside there. And then I add just a little tiny bit to the rest of the can. And this ends up turning out so good. And it was such an easy thrift flip, but makes such a big difference. Like, this is ready to go for spring decor. I love the little, yellow flowers in there, and that pewter pitcher is available on my website, y'all. But I love this. If you are into decorating with flowers in your home, comment with a flower emoji, because I am definitely that girl. Tag flag thing. She gets hers like super clean without ripping. You guys, I don't know how she does it, but she doesn't put paper on the back. She comes back and it's like clean. I need to ask her how she does it. Anyways, taking a chippy brush, and we are taking some chalk paint. She uses a chippy brush, and usually I just kind of like do my own thing with their idea. But you guys, I wanted hers, okay? I wanted mine to look exactly like hers because it was amazing. So I'm trying to follow her to a T. So after that is dry, we're going to take a ruler. I'm using my measuring mat as a guide, taking a pencil, and we're just going to draw 3 lines going up. Or you could say down, whatever you want. And I am then smearing it with my finger because she did it. So I'm going to do it because I want what she has. And hers came out pretty darn amazing. So here we go. And I like the way she did paint it. It looks more like wood. And I think that's because you're going in downward strokes versus sideways. Anyways, since I could not figure out how she got her back clean, I decided we're just going to use our good old shipping paper. So I hot glued that to the back. We're going to cut that out with our craft knife. Now we'll have a clean back. Daisy girl, tell me what you do. What's your secret? Okay, now taking these paint stir sticks, we are going to trace out the top. Easy peasy. We're going to trace out the bottom. And I'm going to go ahead and just cut these with my saw out in the garage. And next we're taking antique wax. I'm just using a baby wipe. We're going to stain those. We're going to let them dry. Then we are going to bring our sign back into the mix, and we are going to attach them. So we attach one to the bottom, and then we are going to actually grab a second tag. This is going to be from Dollar General. They're only $1, and I always pick them up and have no idea what to do with them because they're cute. I don't want to DIY them, but I'm like, well, what else can I do with them? And when I saw this video, I was like, girl, you are genius. And this is so cute. Oh, I love this. Okay. So then I attached the top, and you saw I put the tag string through the actual hole. Then we're going to hot glue that down so it doesn't move around. And now we will flip it back over and hot glue the tag so it doesn't move around on us. Or you don't have to. That's up to you. But like I said, I'm copping her to the T. Now I'm taking some boxwood. We're going to attach those with some zip ties. She was a girl after my own heart when I saw her use a zip tie. Okay, you guys know I love my zip ties on my bows. Saw her use a zip tie on this and I was like, yeah, we were meant to be besties. I'm pretty sure. But anyways, the only thing I don't do is her messy bow. You can see on the top right, I attempted it. I did. It just was not working for me. Okay, so I did like a ginormous multi-loop finger bow for this one with like cream colored twine, and I attached that to the middle, and that's what I ended up doing. But my zip tie was showing because I left the knot in the front for whatever reason. So I just covered that up with some greenery. We're going to attach that finger bow, and this is how adorable this turned out. If you guys love farmhouse, go to her channel because you will be wowed by her stuff. Like, she blows my DIYs out of the water. Like, she is so talented. I am taking these stamps, y'all. These stamps come with 2 sets of stamps, okay? You get both of these sheets in this one stamp. And hang out till the end because I will show you all of the stuff that came in the new release for IOD. So I have an obsession. It's kind of like my favorite pastime is bleaching flannels and customizing them. So when I saw her tea towels, I was like, why can't I do that with my bleached flannels? So this is one I'm going to make for myself. I bleached this prior to these videos. I'm going to take our rooster and I'm going to prep my stamp. I've never used these before, so I'm getting my 220 grit sanding block and I'm going to prep that stamp for ink. I'm going to take my black IOD ink. This is permanent ink. And then I was like, girl, do not get that ink all over. So I am going to press this on my rooster and I'm going to put a good amount of ink in here because it's going, the fabric is going to suck that ink in. So you want to put a gracious amount of ink on there. Now I'm going to turn it around, find where I want to, which is smack dab in the middle because I want to put some letters. And I'm going to take my iron orchid briar and I am just going to roll that on to really make sure I'm pressing that ink into our fabric. I'm going to pull that up. Oh my gosh. You guys, do you see that detail? Oh my word. All right, next we're going to take our lettering. These are also from IOD. Again, link for paintedheirloom.com is in the description box. I decided to go with Junker. I'm going to take my kitchen mats and I'm going to stick those letters on there and then I'm going to coat them again, a heavy coat with our black ink. You can do whatever color ink you want. And I'm going to push those on there, again, taking that briar and making sure that I really have that ink into my fabric. I'm going to go down and I'm also going to put another word on the bottom of my rooster, and that is going to be life. So it says Junker Life, and I love this, you guys, but you guys know I'm extra. So I needed to add just a little something to the front. Oh, you guys, look at that. Look at that. We always do things different here. I'm not going to do a tea towel. We're going to do a bleached flannel. And I'm going to add a little something to the front. And it was this beautiful flower, just that little detail. That's what I feel like makes something, you know, really makes something stand out. Now, we have one more step, which is heating this. So I left it overnight for 24 hours. I have my heat press at 400 and I'm just pressing it for 20 seconds. And then I'll do the same thing for the little spot on the front. I don't know if these are exact like numbers or whatever. You're just supposed to press it with heat. You can use a regular iron as well. And look at how cool this flannel turned out, you guys. This is why I love Try It Tuesday, to show you that, you know, we can see something and we can get inspired by it. You guys might see this and then take it and turn it into something completely different. And that is what is so fun about crafting and being creative and being inspired by other people. I love this and I'm going to wear it with pride. I think this is so stinking adorable. I hope you guys are enjoying this video so far. Okay, first we're going to take some of the larger paint stir sticks. I cut the tops off right when they started to curve. I'm going to be using plaster Waverly chalk paint in all of these DIYs today. You're going to paint the front and the back. Then we're going to take 3 of these, what are these, trays, boxes. We're going to paint all of them, like the inside, the outside, the bottom. You can leave the bottom blank on one of them, which is going to be your base. Y'all, it took me forever to find these. I was almost going to order a case online, but you get random ones. But I finally found them. I left like 3 for somebody else. But other than that, I took the whole shelf because I needed these in my life. So anyways, we're going to paint this. As you can see, I have like a spray bottle. I've been binge watching Amber Strong, and it's just an easier way for your chalk paint to glide since it dries so fast. So I highly recommend spritzing either your brush or the item with water to help move the paint along here. So we're going to finish this. Maybe this is why the video is so long, because I didn't edit any of this out. Okay, here we go. Now antique wax. I'm taking my chip brush. I always work from the outside going in so that it's a little heavier on those edges. I'm going to do this on all of the sides and the bottom, because since this is going to be kind of like a tiered tray, you will see that depending on what angle you're looking at the tray. So we're going to do that for all 3 boxes. And I also do it for the paint sticks as well, because you're going to see the front and the back of those. And goodness, I think, you know, maybe somebody needed a lesson in painting today, and that is why I chose to keep all of this painting in here. So you guys are welcome. If you're new to painting, this is how you do it. All right, now these frames, I'm taking the label holders off. I don't know what I'm going to do with these frames because I've taken the label holder off of like all of them. But I did not have any drawer pulls. So I was like, you know what? This would be a nice little added detail since I don't have any. I'm using painter's tape so I could line up exactly where it's going to be. I measured 5 inches in on each side. That way I know exactly where to put the next one, and I don't have them all wonky. So these just screwed right in. You got to apply some pressure, but they do screw right in. I'm going to do this for the other 2 boxes as well. Voila, I didn't make you watch me do that. Now we're taking our paint stir stick. So I was so inspired by Rose's because of this. Like just how she angled the paint stir sticks together and like gave it, I don't even know what to call this, like almost a lighthouse effect. I don't know, but it just really appealed to me and inspired me. So I wanted to make my own. So I used hot glue and wood glue there. Let's get that. I wanted that longevity. And now I'm going to lay this down and find where I want my other boxes to go. And this actually is going to go in my booth. I'm really excited. It will house all of our little pieces. So once I find out where to put that, I'm going to mark it with the pencil. That way I know where to put like my glue and it's not a hot mess like me. And we apply that on there. That kind of looks crooked, doesn't it? No, it doesn't. That's just my eyeballs. Okay. That's just my shirt. If anybody doesn't watch the bloopers, then you won't know what that's about. Okay. Anywho, and that is all, you guys. Rose, thank you so much for this inspiration. I love how it looked, how easy it was. And I just want to say thank you for inspiring me on this DIY and for giving me permission to recreate it, because yours is absolutely amazing. So again, this is what hers looks like. I love the drawer pulls on hers and the whole color. Amazing. Thank you again.
So I am going to take the new molds from IOD, and I'm going to take this beautiful piece. I saw this right away and I was like, it screams planter. I need it in my life. So I am going to mess around this time with DOS clay. I'm going to tell you right now, I did not like it. If I'm going to use clay, I prefer to use the paper clay. It's just so soft and easy to work with. This, I just don't have patience for it, y'all. I think I'm just spoiled with amazing resin at this point that like, this is so time consuming for me, but I didn't know if I wanted to layer or not. So I went with the clay and I wanted to try something new. So I'm taking cornstarch and I'm going to dust this in my molds. And this is going to help that clay not stick. And I do read your guys' comments, and one of you suggested to put oil on my fingers when I am dealing with clay. So I tried it out and it did work pretty well. They did say do olive oil, so I'll try that next time. That was like a face oil. It was all I had by me. So I'm going to take that clay and we are going to put them in our molds, and then I'm just wiping back the excess. We want them to be as flat as we can on the back. I try not to have a bumpy surface on there. I then tried like my scraper tool from Cricut, but yeah. So we're gonna fill a bunch of these. I really didn't know what I wanted to use out of these, so I just kind of went ham and filled a bunch of them. I absolutely love molds, and y'all, these were molds that I saw and I was like, these are not going to be my thing. But as I saw more creators creating these magical things with them, it inspired me to get into them. So I wasn't filming and I got very upset, you guys, because I did all of this placement, glued it on. So I'm going to tape these up. I had already glued them, but the glue was not dry. So I'm going to tape them so they stay in place. And then I was like, well, I have all these extra clay pieces left, so let's do the back. That way I could show you guys what I did. Well, you guys, this was a hot mess. Yes, it was. I was trying to find something to hold the pot, the planter there, so that I wouldn't squish our clay molds on the back. That didn't work. So all of this I'm doing one-handed, holding the planter the entire time and trying to work with these clay molds, and these are still wet. So it was pretty hard. I'm using the Gorilla Glue and to adhere these to our planter. And this was just, you guys, this is when I'm just like losing my mind at this point. I'm like, I can't believe I did not film that entire section, and now I'm on the struggle bus as usual. Anybody else have a ticket to the struggle bus? Cool. All right, so I'm going to tape that and I'm going to let it dry overnight. It's completely dried. The only thing that moved was the frog, just a little bit. The frog moved, but that's about it. So look at, this was the side you guys didn't get to see. Okay, and I did layer some of the things on, so I'm glad that I went with the clay, but you can see it moved down just a little bit, cracked a little bit, but no worries, because we're going to use salt wash and that's going to hide it. So I'm taking Summer Crush by DIY. I've never used this color before. I'm going to add just a little bit of salt wash, just to get some good coverage to cover that blue up. And I'm going to coat the entire thing. You're going to paint the bottom, please. Let's have a finished product. But I'm not going to paint the inside, because the inside was a cream color. And if somebody actually did want to put a plant in there, I didn't want to ruin it with putting paint in there. So I am going to brush this all around. Then I'm going to come back with some more of that Summer Crush color. I'm going to put a little bit more of the salt wash in this time, because now I want to get more texture. And I'm taking my chippy brush, and if you've watched the last few videos, we're going to stipple this on. We want those ridges to come out. We want those little peaks out of here as well. And you guys, as I was doing this, and it was darker, remember, DIY paint dries down lighter, but in this dark color, I was like, oh my gosh, this looks like a terracotta pot. This is absolutely gorgeous. It still turned out gorgeous, but it made me think of, I have that terracotta spray paint. Oh my gosh, would have been gorgeous. Anyways, you could still make it darker with dark wax, but I'm going to stipple this on all the way around. I don't brush my peaks down or anything. I'm just going to leave it be. And then I did paint my bottom. I have proof right here. Now that this piece is all dry, so you can see it dried down a lot lighter. I am going to take the clear wax by DIY and I'm going to coat the entire thing. Now, after clear, you could go in with dark wax, white wax. I actually asked my membership group what they thought, and It was all mixed around. At the end, I ended up doing the clear wax, and then we are going to take the dark and decrepit dust. This is from DIY. And while that clear wax is still wet, I'm going to put those in the little crevices that dirt would naturally settle. Now, once, give it like a couple hours, and then you will kind of dust the excess of that dust off of there. It didn't come out as dirty as I wanted. Now, I could go back and add more. It was clear wax, so I could add more and then add more dust if I wanted to. And you could also do dark wax, like I said. But in the end, it still came out gorgeous. I love the vibe of this. Look at how cute this turned out. I mean, hey, you guys, this side was done one-handed, okay? So cut me a break here. But I love it. I think it's very whimsical and fun, and it's a great planter to put in your like kitchen window. And there's so many possibilities with these. You guys, look up IOD Spring Collection on YouTube, and you will be blown away about like with what some of these women do. So this was inspired by Jamie Ray Vintage. Go check out their channel. Links are in the description box.
Next DIY is also easy peasy, Dollar Tree squeezy. So I'm taking 2 of the 8x10 framed canvases here, and we are going to take them apart. So I am just going to get my craft knife by Arteza. I love these craft knives. They are super sharp. I will leave a link for you down in the description box. And what I'm doing here is just cutting around all of the staples so we can get the bulk of our canvas off. There you go. Now we got a wood frame. I saved the canvas because we could always use that later. I always save everything I take off. And we're going to do the same thing for this frame. Now don't worry about the staples. Those can stay right where they're at. You won't see them at all. After we're done removing all of the canvases, I am going to take a sanding block because these things are rough. And we are going to sand it down as much as we can. Now I am taking Apple Barrel Black acrylic paint, some water, and I just created a stain with it. And let me tell you, this turns out so gorgeous. I love using the water stain because it dries faster than an oil-based stain that I use on like my wood signs and stuff. And yeah. Okay, so now we are taking a Dollar Tree sign. I am tracing it out with our wooden frame. And now I'm taking my craft knife again, and I'm going to score this over and over and over. I'm not going to put you through the torture because I was here for like a good minute, okay? But basically I'm going to cut this out on the top and the side, and this is going to make the back to our sign. Now, I got this frame idea from Chrissy Creates DIY, so make sure to check her out. I do not know why I never thought to frame things like this before because it looks so high-end. I am taking my chalk paint, giving it a messy look. Y'all know this is my vibe. Now taking the back, we want to cover it. So doing my usual, I get the hot glue, put it on that shipping paper. We're going to clean it up with our craft knife. And now instead of that ugly, ripped up spring backing, we are going to have a nice clean back. Okay, so here's our frame. I have my wood glue and my hot glue. And I'm going to put the back of the sign we just cut out and painted on it. Now, the frames aren't going to match up exactly because they are like kind of a different size. Here I'm just measuring for our decal. I will have this available in my Etsy shop. I made it on my Cricut with permanent matte vinyl. And so before I put the second frame on, I am going to put my vinyl in there. And y'all, pay attention to the wood grain because look at that on the left. Oh my gosh, that wood grain is beautiful. So I made sure that that was the one that was going to go on top here. So it looks beautiful just like this, and this could be a frame sign. Beautiful. Now I'm distressing my vinyl with my sanding block. I think it was Liz Moore Decal and Decor that I got that from, but I'm not 100% positive. Now I'm taking wood glue again, little bit of hot glue, and now I'm just going to put an added frame on there, and this is just going to give it a little bit more bulk and depth. You could have totally just used one and been good with it, but I love the way this looks. Like, it looks high-end. It looks like you would have bought this at a store. Look at that beautiful wood grain. I absolutely love this, and it was easy. And I feel like all of the DIYs on today's video are going to be really easy. So I hope you enjoy them.
I'm back, you guys. I hope you are enjoying this video. Some of these might be like blasts from the past for some of you. Some of you might be clicking on the video for the first time. So welcome. I hope you decide to stick around. If you guys could drop a sun emoji down in the description box if you are ready for summer and summer decor, I would totally appreciate it. Make sure to like and subscribe. And I have all of my links down in the description box. So my website where I sell the paint products, thrifted items, upcycles, Instagram, our Facebook group page. I have everything. So make sure to check that out. And you guys, let's get back into the video. This one is a wall pocket. And seriously, you can never go wrong with wall pockets, especially if they have the embossed details on them. I am using Queen Bee. You guys have seen me dip into this quite a few times, and I'm finding that I love it. I've told you guys before, I see it as like a 70s yellow. Like this was in that 70s show all over the place for sure. I'm going to do the front, the back, the sides. I also do the inside of the wall pocket since it was like wide enough for me to get down in there. And after I'm done doing that, we are going to go and get into our clear DIY wax. There's no wrong or right way to put this on. You can buff it on in circular motions, do back and, side to side, or you can put it on with a cloth as well. I prefer just buffing it in circular motions. I do wipe the excess of that wax off just so it does not take forever to cure. I'm going to do the inside as much as I can, and then I'm also going to buff it on the front of our wall pocket. After that is done, while the clear is still wet, I am taking the black DIY wax and I'm putting that all over my wall pocket in the front and then the back, like where you can see right now the back of it. And then I am going to wipe that back. Now, I was pressing a tad bit too hard when I was buffing that wax out. So some of my Queen Bee came off and showed the original cream color, which I actually didn't mind because I do want this to look aged and kind of decrepit once it is all finished. So I just went with it. There is definitely a difference in the black wax and the dark wax for sure. This definitely looks very deep and dark. I know that sounds weird, and the dark wax is more of a brown antiqued finish, I guess is how I'm going to describe it. So once that is done, I just did not think that there was enough. And I'm all about playing around with these DIY colors and items. And I've never used the Shipwrecked, which is a teal wax that we carry. So I decided to stipple this on in random spots, but I made sure to feather it out. You can go hard like you see me doing right here where it's really bright, but I wanted it to blend in with that black wax a little bit more. You guys are going to see me pull this wax out a lot because we are going to have some fun with it, and it is available on the website as well. So once I was done with that, I just stuck some flowers in the wall pocket, and I personally love how it came out. I was a bit iffy on it when it was just the Queen Bee and the black wax, but with that addition of that teal wax, it really looks like it was sitting outside and it's starting to kind of like crumble on those pieces that have the teal on it. Let me know what you think about this piece. I can't wait to show you this. So we are going to make the little flowers. She did lemons, but she does all different kinds of bouquets of these. So I actually messaged her and was like, what's the measurement? She's like, I don't know. I just kind of like do my thing. Well, me trying new things, I'm like, I need measurements. So I found this Dollar Tree frame so that I could cut perfect squares. I don't know. I'm crazy. But it worked. And then I'm taking my favorite flocking balls from Dollar Tree. The base had the succulent in them from Dollar Tree. I'm going to put 4 of these in here. Oh, this one is missing a flocking ball too. Okay, anyways, so I like these, the bases that come with the succulents because they already have the styrofoam in there for you. You can build these with any kind of florals you want. She also, Brie, has a booth, so she's kind of been like my
booth mentor. And these I think are gonna go perfectly and sell perfectly in my booth. I love them. I want a bunch for the inside of our house. So now I'm taking a rub-on transfer. I'm gonna put that where the front of our florals are gonna go. And I love this. She uses stamps. I don't have any of the stamps or anything like that. So I grabbed these Dollar Tree ones and they're perfection. So now I'm just hot gluing our pot to the paper, filling it with Spanish moss so you can't see any of that. Then I'm going to tack some glue on the front of our pots. Now, you're going to take your shipping paper and you're going to fold it in. See how I fold it in towards myself? This is me trying to figure this out for the first time. I could not catch how Brie was doing it in her video. I will link her video though for this specific craft so you can see the other one she does. But I was trying to figure it out. I was like, does she fold it in? Does she fold it out? I mean, what's going on? And then I got super excited once I was like, yes, I figured it out. So I'm just tagging the hot glue to the folds of the page so that they don't come bowing back out. And I also put a tack of, sorry, I'm not in frame. This is when I was like, yes, I figured it out. See, I'm like, is that how you, yep, okay. So I do put it in, sorry guys, I hot glue the actual pots as well because I don't want the paper bowing out on me. And then I tack it down again against the paper. So then we're going to grab some twine, put a little bit of hot glue on the back, hold that down. I'm going to wrap it around twice. At first, I just tried to tie it. It just slid all the way down. So then I decide, okay, let's go ahead and do like a double wrap. Wrap. Here we go. Oh, isn't this so cute? Oh my word, I love these. And then I just make a little knot right there, leave that one as is. Now this one I'm using the mini clay pots from Dollar Tree. These come in a 3-pack. Of course, now I'm starting to use these and they're nowhere to be found. But you can use these as well. And you can use any size, you guys, of these pots. You just have to make your piece of paper bigger. And again, going with the rub-on transfers, which are going to be a nice design in the front for us. And I love these like vintage rub-on transfers from Dollar Tree. They're gorgeous. And it's a good way if you don't have stamps or anything like that of trying to hot gluing that to the base again. And I will say that I do like the clay pots just because they add a little bit more weight to it. But yeah, these are so gorgeous. So here you go, pushing it in towards us and then doing a fold, hot gluing the paper together. And then I will put some hot glue in on the pot itself. And then you go around and you do the same thing. So I am pushing it in, folding it in towards me, tacking the glue down. And then I will also put a dab on the pot. And you're just going to keep going around your pot or whatever you're using just like that. Look at how cute. I want so many more of them. And just like the different florals you can use as the holidays change, like how she used lemons in hers for summer. And then I'm using daisies, but during fall, I could use the fall picks. You know what I'm like? Yes, girl. Yes. Then we're just going to wrap this one up. I ended up doing 3 because I could not help myself. You guys know I love sets of 3. And look at, thank you, Brie, so much. These are so gorgeous. I love, love, love the way these look. And those rub-on transfers. I mean, oh, they're so gorgeous. And again, all the links for their channel.
So I am going to grab these 2 mirrors. Look at me actually going through my own stash. I've had these for probably 2 years. They had backings attached to them, so I couldn't really take out the mirror. So I'm going to use my glass cleaner. Love this stuff. It's from Walmart. And I am going to clean the wood off and the mirror off as well. Then I took it outside and I did spray shellac on it. I don't mess around when it comes to wood. I always spray shellac so that I don't have any tannins coming through. Now I'm going to grab an old newspaper and we're going to tape off that mirror. And the reason I taped it off is because I was going to spray shellac and I didn't know what it would do to the mirror. So better safe than sorry. We're going to go ahead and cover that up. And it also helped with the paint. Not that you can't not take the paint off with a razor blade. Anywho, I'm going to grab Apothecary by DIY, get all my DIY paints from Brie at Upcycle by Brie, and we are going to give both frame 2 coats of this all the way around and inside this frame. After it dries down, I'm going to take my high grit sanding block. So this is about 220. The higher you go, the smoother the sandpaper or block is going to be. And I'm just going to distress the outer portion of the frame and the inner portion of the frame. I'm not doing it too heavy, just a light sanding. I'm going to clean that up after doing so, and I am going to take this off, and I decided to take them outside and spray them with Clear Matte by Rust-Oleum. And this is how they now look. I didn't want the mirror. I thought it was too shiny. It didn't really go with the new transfers. So I was hoping for the best and I ended up really liking it. So I'm going to take some of the new transfers from IOD. Again, I get my IOD products from Vonda at thepaintedheirloom.com. Her link's in the description box, and first-time customers get 10% off with the code that I have down there. All right. So first I wanted to use these 2 transfers, but as I was trying to see where this would fit in, I felt like I'd be wasting a lot of the images to get this where I wanted to. So I set that aside and I was like, I'm going to come back to that later. I got the butterfly image and I knew that I wanted the middle portion. So I kind of push it down into my frame and see where the butterflies would hit, and I'm going to cut around. I didn't want to waste any of these transfers. So you can see I'm cutting around the butterflies, and then I will kind of work out the rest once I get it laid in there. So again, I'll cut around what I don't need, and then I could use all of those later. I'm going to take the backing off, and then it has a little bit of tack to it, so it'll stick nicely. And then anything that's coming up over the sides, I'm going to take a razor blade and I'm going to cut those off, because if I rub them on there, they're going to stick to that wood and I don't want them there. I just want them on the mirror portion of this project. So now I'm going to take the scraper tool that comes with them, and we are going to scrape that down. You're going to scrape and then pull back on the clear film that they come on. If anything is still left on your paper, you just lay that transfer back down and you're going to rub a little bit more on it until it is stuck to the surface. I'm going to continue this all the way down the mirror. And then after that, I'm going to take that backing and I'm going to burnish those butterflies into my glass. This is just going to ensure that nothing is sticking up so it doesn't peel off. It's nice and everything is adhered. All right. Now for the second one, I decided to go against the eggs because, like I said, it was just going to waste too much of it. And so I grabbed the insect transfer. And I thought, you know what, this actually goes nicely with the butterflies. So again, trying to determine what is actually going to go on there and cutting it out. Then I'm going to do the same method, just taking the little scraper that it comes with, and I'm going to put that down onto our surface. Now, there were some spots where I probably shouldn't have cut off. So what I did was I just took the pieces, layered them just right on top so you couldn't see the seam, and I fixed it. This is where you guys, don't get too crazy. If something does not go right, there's always a way to fix it. So just take a deep breath, go walk around your craft room, and come back and see what you can do to make it work. And for me, this worked. I just got those little pieces that I cut off, I layered them, and it fit nicely. And you guys, this is how they turned out. This is absolutely so beautiful. And it is fun how I could take something that Sonnet did. She used cheese boxes, you guys. And I was inspired by that. And then it turned into to this. And I love the clear matte by Rust-Oleum on the mirrors to give me that more like antique, I guess, finish to these. And I think these are actually two that I am going to keep for myself. Now, you guys, I want
these two signs. They're St. Patrick's Day signs. We're going to pop that clover off, and under is a burlap. I was like, those would look way cuter like that. So we're going to take the strings off right here. Easy peasy. Okay. And then I'm going to take some, I think this one is spackle. We're going to smooth that over our holes, and then we're going to go ahead and set that aside and let those dry while we work on something else. Now, these are the insides of the boxes, and I had these sitting to the side that I used for something else. I was like, this is the perfect DIY to repurpose these. So taking antique wax and a baby wipe, I am going to apply this to the bottom, all the sides, and then the top rim of the box. Not going to do the inside because you are not going to see that. And we are going to repeat this process for all three of the boxes. Now, I'm getting the leather Dollar Tree ribbon, and I was like, okay, the tan is too close to this wood color. The white was like too stark white. So I ended up just going with the black. So for this, I'm going to take some painter's tape, and we're going to use that to guide us so that we know where to put each strip of ribbon so that it is even across the board. So I'm going to take this black leather ribbon, and I'm going to hold it in the front, and then I'm going to apply my bead of hot glue to the ribbon. That way I have more control over it. And then I'm not putting the hot glue in the front. I don't want you to see the little ripple that it kind of the hot glue leaves in the front of our box. So I'm going to repeat this step for all of the other ones. So once again, we do our painter's tape so that they all line up perfectly. We are going to put that hot glue on our ribbon, pull it to the back, skip the front, don't hot glue the front, and then we're gonna hot glue the sides, and we are going to repeat, and easy peasy, right? Okay, so after this is done, I try to get my furniture tacks, but they're just way too long. So then I go with the gold thumbtacks, which Kim uses in her video as well. And these push into these boxes so easy, y'all. Like, they were hardly any effort. You do have to eyeball it, but I didn't do too bad, I must say. And you're gonna also do this to all four of your boxes. Now, after this, we are gonna move on to our signs again. So I'm just taking our standing block, and we're gonna go ahead and just stress that down, clean it up with our Miss Little Ladybug, wipe it down. And now we're gonna connect these two. So I'm gonna take the jumbo, ginormous size craft sticks from Wally World, and we are gonna hot glue those to the seam of our signs. I'm gonna use two of these big ones, and then I'm gonna cut one down to fit in the middle of these two pieces as well. Now check out Kim's, because she has like some crazy way of connecting these, but it's like a stronghold connection. It ain't going nowhere. You know what I'm saying? So check it out. Now we're taking just shipping paper, tracing out our sign, and then we're going to hot glue this to the back so that we have a nice finished project. I have to do this, or it would just drive me absolutely insane knowing that it wasn't covered. So taking linen white by Rust-Oleum, we're going to go ahead and do a messy brush on this. Didn't want to put you through watching that whole thing. So we're done here. All right, so after we were done with this, you guys know me and my spacing and my measuring, and then I realized, oh gosh, we still have to put the faux shiplap on here. So I'm gonna take the pencil, I'm gonna mark where our boxes are. Now, you guys, I wasn't recording when I did the shiplap, but all I did was take a permanent marker and a ruler. Yeah, yeah, that's me being like, did you really not record that? So now I'm taking this decal from Dollar Tree, and oh my gosh, this decal is absolutely gorgeous. The green and the pink against that black is just everything. And I knew I had to use it for this piece. And let me tell you, this thing sticks so well. You don't have to use Mod Podge.
and it shows no lines whatsoever. If you guys remember that bloom decal I used on one of the spring DIYs, how you can see the outline of the decal, well, you do not see anything on this one, and it just blew my mind. Absolutely loved it. So we are going to just finish sticking those on. I'm just eyeballing the letter placement right here. And then we are going to attach our little boxes. So let's finish that up. Look at how pretty that is. All right, now with our boxes, we're gonna take our Dollar Tree super glue. I'm gonna use that a lot in this video. And then I'm gonna take the hot glue, put it on the side around our super glue, and then put it where we put our lines. Now I am making mine flush with the bottom of the sign. Kim made hers kind of like up a little bit, so like if you were to hang it, but when she displayed it and took a picture, it almost looked like it was sitting on the table, and I was like, you know what? That's a great idea. That way you could prop it in like a bookshelf, up on a counter, I mean, anywhere you want, or you could put command strips on it and hang it up if you choose to. So we're gonna finish putting the last box on there. And then I just decided to include this in here in case you guys wanted to see it. But I just took floral foam, I call it baby eucalyptus. And then I found these flowers on Facebook Marketplace, and they just fit perfectly with this DIY. And this is absolutely my favorite. Do you see how gorgeous this is? Like, if you cannot hear it, I'm smiling very big right now because I'm very proud of this, and I am so happy Kim created this because it inspired me. And I mean, look at how gorgeous this is, y'all. Woo! All right, let me know if you like.
Start off this video using Cowgirl Coral. I always want to say corral, Cowgirl Corral. It just sounds cooler. So I am taking this wall pocket that I thrifted. I think it was $4.99, and I am going to go straight in with my DIY paint. Now, with DIY paint, I do not have to prime and prep it like I usually do with the clear Rust-Oleum. It grabs onto this piece so well without chipping or anything like that. So whenever I do wall pockets, I try to go as far down as I can into the pocket, but I'm not going to get all the way down. So if you buy it, note that. And I'm going to do the front as well. Now, I don't paint the back because the back is a galvanized metal. I think it looks good, and there's no need to waste the paint on the back of the item. I, of course, am going to show you what this looks like dried down because we all know that it dries down lighter. So here is a glimpse right here. It is beautiful dried down, and it's beautiful in its darker wet form as well. So options are pretty endless here. That is Hank, if you did not hear him. So after I am done drying that, I'm going to go ahead and put a second coat just because I could see a little bit of that metal coming through. After we're done with the second coat, I flip the back around and just clean up the DIY paint with a baby wipe. It is water soluble, so you can reactivate it with water and clean that up. And just to show you, like, this is the French millinery that I used over a week ago, and I just took a baby wipe to my Lazy Susan and it wipes right off. So it is so easy for cleanup. Now I'm going to take my IOD transfers. I get my IOD products from Bonda at paintedheirloom.com, and her link is in my description box. What I love and what I feel like people don't utilize out of these transfers is that you can make them your own. Just because they come in certain sheets or there's like a design on the back, it doesn't mean they have to stay that way. This is one of those transfers that I've held on to forever because I was like, it's so pretty, I don't want to use it. But then I decided, you know what, this color is too perfect not to use this transfer. So I'm butting the transfer up at the rim, and then I am trying to cut a line where I need to cut it because I want it to like go up in to that little lip on the wall pocket. So I don't cut it perfectly. So I have to end up cutting a piece of it off, and I'm just going to do it in two pieces so that I can get up in there underneath the lip and make it look nice and pretty. I'm going to use the plastic scraper that comes with every transfer that you purchase, and I am going to peel it up as I'm scraping it down so that the transfer releases from its carrier sheet and then attaches to our paint. Now, Some people, the instructions state to put a clear coat on top of your paint before putting your transfer on. Sometimes I do this, most times I don't. But it's hit or miss. Sometimes it pulls up my paint, but majority of the time it doesn't. So I just wanted to put that out there, and you do what works for you. Now I'm going to take this second piece, and I can see where it lines up next to those flowers. I'm going to peel it off of its back. I'm going to try and butt that up to the lip as much as I can. And these IOD transfers, they have a little tack to them. So you can see how I'm like rubbing it down and it's clinging to that wall pocket. So it makes it pretty easy once, when you're dealing with a curve for it to stay in place. So again, you're going to take that scraper tool, and then I am going to bring the transfer sheet up as the transfer is releasing on to our wall pocket. The transfers are so very easy to use. And if you see that you have a transfer coming up onto that carrier sheet, you lay it back down and then you just rub a little bit harder on it. And that's the same thing, like if you accidentally lift the whole thing up, you can lay it back down, just line it up, and then do your thing. So now I'm burnishing it. So I'm just taking that carrier sheet, rubbing it all over that image, making sure it's adhered properly. And now I'm going to take some scraps and I am going to just put them in random places. I want to utilize them. I thought it needed something over here to the left. So I added another little daisy over here and it was perfection. Now I'm going to take our DIY clear wax. Love this fluffy wax. And I am going to buff it in. You can buff this in over your transfer, but you can't do it before your transfer goes on. Then I kind of just wipe the excess off because the wax kind of just sits on top of the transfers. So make sure you buff that out on top of your transfers or it's just going to be like oily. And this is how the wall pocket came out. I love this cowgirl coral with this transfer. It is absolutely stunning. For those of you that don't know, I do sell DIY products now on my website, unicorndustdesigns.com. I should be getting my paints within a week and a half and I'll be fully restocked again. Oh, I love that.
12-inch like wood cutout. It's from Hobby Lobby. And I'm brushing on some antique wax. I'm just being messy with this, no rhyme or reason. And I'm going to take some chiffon by Rust-Oleum and I'm going to mix them together. So I'm using the same paintbrush and these both are wet. So I'm just trying to blend them in and they make this like beautiful brown gray color. I don't know what it is. So next we're going to take this stovetop cover and we're going to apply, you guessed it, super glue and hot glue. And we are going to attach our wood piece to the top of this, okay? So now we're gonna flip that around. We're gonna go ahead and take Jenga blocks, a lot of them. So right here, first I try putting hot glue on the Jenga block and then trying to press it up against there. Well, that doesn't work very well. So then I decide I'm going to use, apply the hot glue on the side of the Jenga block and then on the rim of the stovetop and the rim of the wood piece, which I will show you right here. So on the side, the rim, and then press the Jenga block up to it. Now this ended up working best, and I know it doesn't seem like, oh my gosh, that's gonna hold it all, but I'm gonna show you how we fix that. So then of course your girl does not measure. And I'm like, oh my gosh, is this gonna fit? Like, are these Jenga blocks gonna fit or am I gonna have a huge gap? Look at that. Perfect. Okay, so of course we want our Jenga blocks to match the inside. So I'm just taking a stencil brush from Dollar Tree, getting that antique wax. We're gonna go around the top and the inside. And I don't do the outside yet because to blend these colors, they have to be wet. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this all the way around. And then we're just going to take that chiffon chalk paint once again, and then we're going to blend the two together. Now you don't want to pack on the chiffon chalk paint because unless you want it super chiffon colored,
but I liked how it looked blended like this and kind of like multicolored. So we're gonna do the same thing for the outside. Now, taking some nautical rope from Dollar Tree, I'm gonna start at some point, and I'm taking a bead of hot glue. And what's nice about this is we are putting that hot glue right where that Jenga block and the wood piece meet. And then we are putting that nautical rope right there. So the nautical rope is helping us hold those Jenga blocks to our pieces. Oh gosh, I'm a mess. So then we're just hot gluing those together. And now starting at the same place that we started the inside at, we are going to now start wrapping the nautical rope on the bottom outside of our tray. This is going to give it more stability and more hold of like those Jenga blocks. And I'm using these silicone mats. Thank you, Mama Mickey, for sending them because they are amazing. And I'm seriously putting the hot glue like on the very, very bottom of the Jenga blocks, basically touching the silicone mat because I wanted the nautical rope to sit flush with the table. And we're gonna go ahead and keep wrapping this all the way around. And just like we did with the back, we are going to cut that off and then we are going to attach the two together. So whenever I close off, like I cut and I'm trying to attach, I'll put hot glue on the starting piece as well. That way they kind of just like click together, glue together. I don't know, you guys know what I'm talking about, right? You picking up what I'm putting down? All right, so I can't wait to show you how this turned out. Oh my gosh. Okay, thank you, Liz, for this inspiration. Okay, let me know, of course, which one is your favorite, but look at the color on this tray. It's gorgeous. This is gonna go with any of my decor. I love that it's a bigger size. Like I have a tin pitcher in there.
I thrifted these cuties and they were $1.99 for two of them. And we're gonna have fun with different colors I've never tried before. So this one is Marquee and it is a beautiful red color. Now, keep in mind, when you purchase DIY paints, how they look in the container isn't how they're gonna dry down. So they always dry down because they are clay-based to be a lot lighter. This was something that when I first started using the paint, I was like, wait, this does not look anything like what's in the container. So I am going to paint this front, back, and sides. And I did have to do 2 coats just because I could see that like the brush I was using was causing streaks. So I could see some of that teal in the background, which I did not want. Now I'm gonna show you how this looks dried down versus wet. So you can see how much darker it is when it's wet and then how it dries down. Now usually I'm a matte girl. I like my DIY paints matte. That's why I usually wax them for my finishing touch instead of clearing them with Big Top or some other clear coat. But if you do like that darker red color, what you're gonna do is you're gonna add Big Top to the top of this. This is gonna darken up your color and it is gonna look more like that original color that you saw when the paint was wet. So keep that in mind if you see a color and you're like, oh my gosh, it looks so pretty, and then it dries down and you're like, that's not the color I was going for. All you got to do is put that clear coat on. So I am going to clear this one, and that's why they say pour your clear into another like bowl, because this brush was getting red all over it and that would contaminate my Big Top container. So I definitely need to get some like maybe silicone bowls or something. I don't know. What do you guys use? Now I'm going to take some transfers. I think this is from the Willow booklets from IOD. All of my IOD links are in the description box for you. And I am going to take my image. We are going to put the image down. Now the image has a little bit of tack to it. And to be honest, you guys, these are so fun to use because you don't have to use them how they're shown. You can cut bits and pieces off of these images and really make them your own. So I take the image off. They have a little bit of tack to them, the carrier sheet does, and you're just going to rub them down onto your surface with the little plastic thingy-majigger that it comes with. And you're just gonna pull that up and your image will release on there. Then you're gonna take that carrier sheet and you're gonna burnish that on to your surface. And all that's doing is just securing your transfer onto your piece. I thought I needed something else just because there was so much green, so I added this really wispy pink flower on it. I'm going to add some twine. It looked naked on top and I didn't like it. So that's why I decided to add the twine. Hot glued it, wrapped it around, tacked it off in the back. I am also going to make a finger bow. I do have a video that is in real time on how to make finger bows. So I'll leave that in the description box for y'all down below. I'm going to hot glue that on. I do this same step with the next cutting board I show you. So we are going to skip that in the next one. Now you guys, look at this. This is Fancy Farm Girl. And if you didn't know, my favorite color is green. And I was not disappointed with this green whatsoever. So again, we're painting the front and the back and the sides. This is how it dries down compared to what it looks like wet. And I was loving the color when it was dried down. It is so beautiful. I'm going to take a sanding block and I am going to sand the edges and distress that down. You could also use a baby wipe or a wet cloth. This one is going to be a little bit more simplistic. I am going with this almost like burnt orange. This isn't burnt orange, is it? Mustard yellow? I don't know. We are going to go with this mushroom, and then I'm going to do these really beautiful wispy white florals that also come in the same booklet. And then I am going to use my scraper. It was giving me some issues at first, but I got it to get down there. And I'm going to peel that back and it's going to release, and I'm going to burnish that as well. I'm going to do the same thing. We're going to wrap it at the top with the blah, 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 blah twine. I do clear wax this one because, like I said, I liked the lighter version of this green and not the darker. So I am waxing it and it will dry down to be a little bit lighter than what it looks like now. And this is how they turned out. I love these. They were super simple. It's a great way of flipping smaller finds to create an impact with them. I think that they're cute. You could use them in tiered trays. They are bright and airy, and that green is actually a lot lighter in person. So taking this brownie pan, cake pan, it's a cooking pan, and it's from Dollar Tree. And I'm taking my chiffon paint and then I'm taking my chalk brush because that's what she used. And I'm going around in circles. We're going to do the outside. We're going to do the inside. We are going to do 2 coats of this. And I am like, when I'm doing it, I'm like, why doesn't mine look as smooth as hers? You know, like in the movies when you're like, that's not real life. Well, that's how I felt about hers because I was like, man, hers looks so flawless and smooth. I'm so jelly. But anyways, so we're going to do that. Then taking one of these planters from Dollar Tree, we're doing the same thing. We're applying the chiffon paint. We're going to do 2 coats of this. And just be careful when you're going around the twine. Doesn't have to be perfect though. Then after it dries, I'm taking a sanding block and I'm just distressing it, alternating up, down. I mean, if you want to go ham and you just like love distressing, you do you, okay? You just distress the crap out of it. I love it. Just do it. Okay, so then I do the inside and then I do the bottom of it. And I know some people are probably like, why did you do the bottom? Like nobody's going to see it. Well, for me, I love little details like that. And I personally pay attention to small details like that. So I just thought I'd add it. So then you're going to also do the planter right here. I just do a couple spots. And then now we are going to attach the 2. So yeah, clean up your workspace with your ladybug. Okay, so then I'm going to clean that off with a baby wipe. Now I'm marking off my spots. Of course, I have to measure. So grab that ruler and I measure once,
then I measure twice, then I measure 3 times, and then I measure 4 times. You guys know I'm a weirdo. So once I get that, I go ahead and mark it off with my pencil. And then I'm like, oh man, the inside of this is kind of hollow. So I'm like, what am I going to do? Because I didn't trust just the super glue on the rim. So using these domino pieces, I layered 3 of them on top of each other, and they sat like super flush with the rim of this. It worked out so well. So I used that, applied the super glue, applied our hot glue, and then we are going to attach it to our pan right here. Now let that kind of firm up a little bit. Now she used clear chalk wax stuff. I've never used this before, and you think your girl would like Google how to use it. No, I didn't until after I was done. And this is a wax chalk brush thing, but I learned that you should probably put it on with like a cloth. It takes like 2 hours to dry. I definitely will be using it again. It was really nice and it was super smooth, and the wax just helps protect it obviously from like chipping and all of that stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish doing this. I did the pan and then I did the planter, of course, and it dried like really smooth. It doesn't feel waxy. Okay, you guys, look at these. Look at these balls. Okay, these are sliced wood beads, and I should have been smart and measured my pan before I ordered these, but I did not. I guesstimated by looking at her picture and ordered 2-inch sliced balls. Now, the pan is 1 inch wide. Oh my gosh, you guys. Okay, so I went back and forth about using these, and finally I was like, you know what, maybe this is someone's style. I'm just gonna go for it. So I'm getting the beads, putting the super glue and hot glue on the top half, just so it doesn't like, you know, goob on down the ball. I'm calling these balls. These cannot even be beads. They're so big. And I'm gonna go around the, I'm gonna go around this tray and, oh goodness, you guys, if you could only have seen my frustration. So then I start measuring and I'm like, yeah, you probably should have done this beforehand, but luckily I was coming towards the back of the pan. And so then I had to start spacing them out just a little bit so that I wouldn't have like a humongous gap towards the back. So word to the wise, order 1-inch sliced beads, not 2-inch, like me. So then taking a chip brush and that same chiffon paint, we're going to go ahead and paint all of these balls. You guys drink every time I say balls, okay? Please, please do. And I love using the chip brush because it gets in all like the nooks and the crannies and all that. So after this dries, we're going to take Steel by Waverly, and I am putting like the tiniest amount in the front of these balls just so it kind of ties the entire thing together. You guys have to let me know, like, honest truth, like what you think about this tray, because I am so torn up. The more I look at it, the more it's growing on me, but like initial is shock. like, whoa, like I was a savage when I made this, you guys, like, hello, like this is bold and beautiful. That is for sure. Please let me know down in the description box.
Okay, you guys, more candlesticks. Yes, more candlesticks, because I am going to keep trying this milk paint until I get it right. So you guys might see a million fails before we grasp it, but we're going to get there. So I popped these silver, sorry for the, you're welcome. I popped the metal off the top because they were kind of loose. I put Gorilla Glue and then a little bit of hot glue just to get immediate hold. I just wanted to make sure that they were on there all the way. Now, okay, here we go. I had put equal parts warm water and then the milk paint powder. I mixed it up super good. And you guys, I even called Brie before I did this. Did you see that? That was like 2 drops, 2 tiny drops of the bonding. And I like got direction from her. I did exactly as she had told me to do. And then I let it set. And you guys, I let this milk paint set for like over an hour and it would not thicken up. So as I'm waiting for that to thicken up, I am using water lily. I'm going to grab my salt wash and I just kind of eyeball it and do it to my preference of thickness. The salt wash I get it, from the salt wash website. The link is in the description box. And it's basically like a thickening agent. That's how I describe it. It adds depth, it adds texture, and it's supposed to give it like a weathered look to it. So I mixed mine. I'm taking my chippy brush and I'm stippling it on. You want to make sure that you are getting peaks out of this. And I'm going to give you a close-up so you can see what I'm talking about. This is what is going to add the almost like concrete, chippy kind of finish to your project. Now, as I was reading the pamphlet, yes, the pamphlet that came with this, it said that when it was almost dry, so you see all those peaks, see how they come up to like a little point? It said that to let it almost get dry. Then before it's completely dry, you're going to take that brush and you're going to basically brush down the peaks. Now, I don't mind the peaks. I love the texture. Brushing down the peaks gave it more of like a stucco looking finish. So you see how I'm just lightly brushing the paintbrush over it just to knock down those pointed like tips of the salt wash. But I guess it's just preference because I really did not mind them, and it does give it a little bit of a smoother finish. I hope y'all are picking up what I'm putting down and you're like, Sammy, you're just like blah 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 blah. But all right, here we go. You're probably gonna hear another dog clamoring at the dang sliding glass door. Okay, so here we go. I'm taking the candlesticks and I am going to use the clear wax because a part of me, it had already been an hour. The milk paint wasn't thickening up and I wanted to ensure that I get some layers of like a chippiness out of it. So as I go to put the milk paint on, I know right away it's not going to chip. And I know that because in the past, when it looks like this, when it looks like watered down paint, it doesn't work. If it was thicker, it would probably be chippy. So I don't know what I am doing wrong. I listened to Brie and did it step by step exactly the way she told me, and I cannot get this stuff to chip. And it is so frustrating because you know when you have like a DIY in your mind, you have the vision, you know what it's going to look like, and you get super excited. And then you take a product that's supposed to do something and it's not doing it for you. So it was a little bit frustrating, but I'm not going to give up on this. Okay, I'm not going to do it. So again, I take that clear DIY wax, I put it in random spots because I know that the paint is not going to stick to it, and that's going to add another layer of quote unquote chippiness. Now my little helper, Everett, he wanted to help sand. So we are sanding over that salt wash. And the reason I'm doing that is because I want that water lily to peek back out from underneath that white milk paint that we put on. So I do that all over our candle, and you don't have to do it. I just want to see more of the water lily coming through so that it looks like layered paint has worn and chipped over time. Did I just like repeat myself like a million times? You guys, it's late. Oh my gosh. I hope you guys can relate. Okay, and then I'm going to clear it with some DIY clear wax, and we are good to go. So this is how they turned out. They do look old, they do look weathered, and they do have depth and texture to them. It just wasn't exactly what I was envisioning, but I do like them. They are going to be available on my website if this is anybody's vibe. I will say the taller candlestick, for whatever reason, has a tiny little wobble, and I couldn't find out why. But once you put the candlestick on, or candle on, it's totally fine.
So this was actually supposed to be part of last week's video and didn't make it in. I'm taking this old metal pitcher that I upcycled when I first started my channel, and I am taking some salt wash that I mixed with sandy blonde. Now, this was for those bookends. Those are available on my website. And I made this first application not very thick. It's kind of like a milkshake texture. And I'm going to do that all over, and I even do it on the top inside. Once that is completely dry, I take the really thick white salt wash that we use. This one I think is beadboard, and I used a lot of salt wash because I wanted it nice and thick. And I'm going to stipple that on. I even just slap the brush back and forth. I wanted all different texture on here. And I'm going to go ahead and let that dry. Now, I saw this out of the corner of my eye and I had leftover paint. So I was like, let's paint it. So I take that leftover paint and we are going to put this on here. I don't care if the white shows through. We are going to see multiple colors because you can see the sandy blonde, you can see the white, and I am down for that. So I am just taking whatever I have left and I'm going to cover what I can over the picture. Now that that's done, I'm going to take the clear wax once again. Now, remember, your clear wax is your sealer. You are not, after you apply wax, you will never put like a polyacrylic or a spar urethane or big top over it, ever. It'll just be a sticky mess. You could do it before you put a wax on, but not after. So while that wax is still wet, we are going to take dark and decrepit dust. I do have these in stock right now, and I'm taking my Dollar Tree stencil brush and I am just going to pounce that in different areas around the picture just to give it a very crusty, worn look. I think you all know that I love that vibe, so why not do it with this, right? So I love the way that this turned out. After you let it set for a minute, you're just going to take another chippy brush and you're going to dust off that excess. You do not need to put any wax over that. And this is how this picture turned out. I love it. You all know I love my salt wash now, and I do have it available on the website. I love the look with the dark and decrepit dust on there. You could also do that with like dark and decrepit liquid patina, antique wax. So there are other options.
All right, we'll get our life together. No, wait. Okay. All right, yeah. One day. No, probably never one day. Let's just be real with ourselves. Okay. Video. I'm a mess. I'm always a mess. I like how I didn't even button that. Okay. I'm getting pretty good, man. Oh, that one was fast. Fast while I'm losing all this hair. I'm glad that I just took off my jacket to make it look like it's a different day. I think y'all are smarter than that. All right. You guys drop me a comment if you're still even here. Do people still watch the bloopers? Do they? Or if you're in the premiere, drop premiere down below. I wonder if people know that when you watch the premiere, you're watching it ad-free. So you guys should be on the premiere if you don't want ads in the video. Okay? All right? What am I trying to say? I basically look exactly like I looked in the last video, except I switched cardigans. So there's that. We're working smarter, not harder, okay? One tank top, and then you change out the top layer, okay? All right, let's do this. You guys, I talk way too much. I just like talking. Like if I can be on here like live and just talk for hours while I'm actually crafting to film these videos, that would be so much fun. Like that would be amazing. But I use my phone to record, so I can't really do the live. And yeah. Okay. What else did I want to tell them? I don't know. Okay, bye. This lighting. One day I'll change this. I think I talk about this like every time I start filming an intro because it's so not the spring vibe I'm going for. But Hank, leave her alone. Nah. Okay. Side note, for those of you that like Dollar Tree, I am going to have Dollar Tree mystery boxes up on the website. All I'm trying to do is recoup my money. So I'm not like charging like extra on top. I'm just trying to recoup my money on the items. Additional $5 just for packing supplies and my time for packaging and sorting everything. And then whatever shipping is going to be. So if any of you are into that, then visit the website. There will be tons of stuff. Maybe it's stuff you already have or you've seen, and maybe some of it is hard to find items that you would not usually get in your store, but it is going to be, I think up to, I'm deciding if it's 20 to 25 items. But if you're interested, go check out the website. I appreciate you all for being here, and bye. I feel something in my tooth. It's those darn almonds. Darn almonds. Almonds all day, almonds all night. Almonds in my belly, I like to fight. I'm not gonna quit my day job. Yes. Okay. Snap out of it. What's next? I think you're done. I think that was it. Now we got to do outfit change and do all 3 more. Oh, man. Girl, it's been a day. Woo. Ooh, mama. Can we get this done? Can we? Usually I feel all glowing right now. I feel like, ooh, a hot mess. Is gloss gonna make it better? Probably. Nope, didn't make it better. I still look the same. Freaking take, girlfriend. Is that like a highlight or a bald spot? That's a highlight. Okay. I don't like it. Or a mess. Why does it surprise you?
I just wanted to hug.
Oh, okay. I love you. Like you're not even looking out onto the neighbor's yard. You're just being a stage 5 creeper clean bear, aren't you? Aren't you? You look, you're dang handsome, man. Oop, oop.